Alright, internet feminist, huh? The lack of self-awareness is mind-boggling with them. Alright, to you particularly, I'm going to be responding to a comment, well, several comments made by an internet feminist here. I want to put the text up, obviously, to show exactly what I'm responding to, the exact words, so that way we can all see. And to you, Missy, I am definitely responding to you, and I hope you watch this all the way through. Maybe, just maybe, I might be able to knock enough sense into you, proverbially speaking, to where you finally get it and finally understand why people have a problem with your movement. Where do I start? Just with this simple first part of your comment alone. Well, first off, you're saying because men rape women more than women rape men, ergo we have a rape culture. Are you a sexist now? Are you sexist against men? Because you know what, last I checked, more women make false rape allegations than men. So I guess by that logic, we also live in a false rape allegation culture, right? And here's the big thing here. Rape carries a hell of a lot stiffer sentence if convicted than a conviction of a false allegation of rape. Very much so. And last I checked, when you were convicted of rape, well, if you do get out of prison alive, well, you have to register as a sex offender after that. I mean, hell, if you get convicted of murder and get out of prison alive, your life after prison, after being convicted of murder, is better than your life after prison after being convicted of rape. But either way it goes, non sequitur, because guess what? Rape is one of the most stiffest punished crimes out there. When have you seen a lynch mob out, by the way, for false allegations of rape? There hasn't been any. There have been lynch mobs started over false allegations of murder, though. I mean, look at the Duke lacrosse players who were fraudulently accused of rape. How long did the false accuser spend in prison after it was provably false? I mean, the prosecutor got disbarred for falsifying evidence, and I think he might have spent 1 day in jail, maybe, if that. But nothing other than that really happened, you know? So, I mean, it seems to me we're more willing to brush a false allegation of rape under the carpet than we are a rape. So no, we don't have a rape culture. We never have. So, are you not starting to see how deluded you are yet? Or at least how ridiculous your opinion is yet? Yeah, wage gaps do exist, and everyone likes starting shit, huh? The gender wage gap you're talking about, the 77 cents on a dollar, comes from a Census Bureau poll. Two things it takes into account: gender and reported earnings. Does not take into account hours worked at work a week. Does not take into account hazards at work. Does not take into account the different types of work. or the intensity of the labor or anything like that. Feminists have taken that number and excluded those two factors, which was covered in the Census Bureau poll, and excluded every other fact. Won't even hear it. Won't even hear it. And just said, well, men make $1 to every 77 cents a woman makes, therefore gender discrimination. Now, if men, were to actually act like feminists, I guess we can call on the Meninist, even though that's a parody movement. We could probably go to DOL and we'll find out that, hey, 92% of workplace fatalities are men. So, obviously that must be gender discrimination, right? Nothing to do with the fact that men generally tend to take more hazardous duty. Or men generally tend to work 5 to 6 hours more a week than women. Well, I guess, there's the work time gap, or the gender work time gap, that obviously must be due to gender discrimination, right? Workplaces must be expecting men to work 5 to 6 hours longer while giving all those women, that 5 to 6 hours off, right? You see where I'm going with this? This is a problem people have with feminists. But if you take all that into account, the wage gap goes away. At my workplace, I've got 27 other people to do the exact same job I do. And guess what? They're all men. Now, we've hired women to do this job in the past, but they all quit. It's hard, strenuous labor. It's working 60 hours a week a lot of the times. And it's in the top 10 most dangerous jobs in the free world. So, obviously, we're going to make a little bit more than, say, somebody who works part-time at 7-Eleven. We're going to make a little bit more than somebody who only has to work 6 hours a day babysitting kindergartners. You catch my drift here? This is why feminism is taken as a joke by any normal, rational human being. One of the many reasons why. So, pretty much what you've said is, go ahead and call everybody who identifies as a feminist today, a feminazi. Great. Oh, and no, I'm not taking you out of context either. See, pretty much all the people who I've seen or known who've identified as feminists today believe that this gender wage gap is based on discrimination against women, when in fact it's not. They believe this 1 on 5 women will be raped in college nonsense, even though that's been debunked. They believe that we have a rape culture here in the West, even though that's not true either. And and here's the thing, you can't even lie about that. You can't even lie that that's not what you believe. Because, I mean, one, you just said it. I mean, you said it in the comments. Fuck, I need myself another beer here. You said it in the comments, right? And I'm not stupid. I'm not inexperienced. I've dated a few feminists. It's all the same rhetoric. Not a feminist I dated when I was in the army. The only reason you get paid so much is because you have a penis. Huh, really? Wouldn't have anything to do with the fact I served for years. I'd been deployed to combat twice. Wouldn't do with anything have anything to do with the fact that I was a non-commissioned officer at the time. Oh no, nothing like that. No, it was just simply because I have a penis, even though women of the same rank, same time, and service would get the same pay. Even though they didn't have to do the same on the APFT as I did. I wonder when feminists are going to get around to fixing that discrepancy. Probably not anytime soon. Excuse me, feminazis. I'll use the correct term. I had to shrink the text on that one, it wouldn't fit. But anyway, no, you're absolutely right. I don't care a damn bit about my mother, or my grandmother, or my female relatives. Especially not my mother. That's of course why I gave her my enlistment bonus. Which is $6,000. Well, 4.5 after taxes, obviously. But I gave her that. I mean, she just recently divorced my dad. Struggling financially, but you know what? Hell. We all give thousands of dollars to people we don't care about, right? No, shoot, or just like any other time she's asked for money, it sometimes in the increments of thousands. Such as an example when she was 4 months behind on her mortgage and didn't tell me. But no, we absolutely, you're absolutely right. Anti-feminists such as myself don't care about my mother, and certainly don't care about my sisters. I mean, well, actually, it's kind of hard to care about relatives you don't have. But and my grandmother, that's why I don't drive 3 hours to Tyler, to see her. Shoot. Yeah, but right. I don't care about any of my female relatives. Obviously, because I don't support feminism. And you see, that right there is one of the reasons people despise you feminazis. I'll use your term, feminazis. Because anytime we don't toe your feminist line, we get accused of not caring about our female relatives. And we get accused of hating our mothers, hating our daughters, hating our sisters, hating our grandmothers, hating our aunts, hating our nieces, hating our cousins that are female. If you're a woman, well, shoot, you're just like a black that left the Democrat plantation. Yeah, of course, you used to hear some of the things that blacks who aren't Democrats get called by other Democrats. Uncle Tom's house niggers. You would honestly wonder if the Democrats really were the friends of the blacks at that point. You'd honestly have to look at that and say, wait a second. It seems like the Democrat Party's more racist than the Republicans. Or the Libertarians. You want to know the scorn feminists get? I mean, look in the mirror. Look at what you say. Look at what you accuse people of, just simply for not towing your line. Yeah, and what do you mean by that? That's real subjective. I could take that in a lot of different ways. I mean, I could run with it in a lot of different ways. You'd have to be specific on it, yes. You got a lot of feminazis now, to include yourself, who are squealing about a gender wage gap, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I can go back and criticize stuff that's already been accepted as just that previous generations of feminists did. Yep. Well, take, for example, voting. Well, feminists demanded that women should have the, quote, right to vote. And I use, quote, right to vote because voting was never intended as a right in this country. And voting's really not a right. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. See, back in the days of our founding, our founders didn't bestow a right to vote to anybody. They had certain criteria, depending on which state you lived in, what made you eligible to vote. Most of the time it was being vested in the country. The thing was they didn't want a bunch of dumbasses voting. Is what it boiled down to. In the days of our founding, yes, women got to vote. Just the same as men got to vote. If you met the criteria. That's largely what it boils down to. Now, when World War I came around and we had the draft, and World War I was a horrific war, by the way. I mean, you want to talk about a nightmare for a soldier? World War I was that nightmare. You had guys coming home, fucked up, tore up. You had body bags filled. And people decided, hey, you know what? These guys can be conscripted, forced to go fight, forced to be in that hellish situation. Maybe it's time that if our country can draft them, then they should be able to vote. And about 7 years later, after the demands from the suffragettes, we just pretty much said, oh, hey, well, guess what? You can vote if you're a woman too, even though you don't have to be drafted. And you think that's not an issue in our modern world today? Well, tell me, what is your selective service number? Oh, that's right, you don't have one. You don't have one, but I guarantee you every male, once they turn 18, has to go sign up for selective service before they can vote. And guess who signed that one into law? Feminist or feminist ally, depending on your perspective as a feminazi. Jimmy Carter signed that one into law. So what are feminists doing to change that? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. You'd all rather whine about your first world non-issues. But perhaps, maybe, just maybe, going off what you said, people look at feminists and see, that's not somebody I want to be associated with. those are not beliefs that I know to be true. Those are beliefs I know not to be true. You know, that sort of thing. Well, no, but then again, there are crimes that women commit at a far greater rate. I mean, but let's run with this here a sec. Let's fucking run with this here. Who's more likely to make a false rape allegation again? Oh, that's right. What are feminists doing about that? Aside from endorsing that. And if I really wanted to, I could pull up some quotes on that one, and I just might well do it and put it in the description box. Let's see. Who's more likely when they commit a rape for it to get brushed off? I mean, namely statutory rape. You know? I mean, come on with all the female teachers sleeping around with the male students. Come on. Now, you know better. So, do women really have it that bad? I mean, and who's more likely to get some mob justice imposed upon them if they're falsely accused of rape? Is it a man or a woman? Let's be real here. The world isn't quite as your gender studies professor told you it was now, is it? Another one I can go so many ways with. Tell me something. Have you been to the Middle East? Oh, I'm not denying that women are not treated like shit there. They're treated like shit there. In some ways. In ways, men are treated like shit there. Over there, if you're a man and, well, I shouldn't say in all Middle Eastern countries, but in some Middle Eastern countries, if you're a man there and somebody's insulted you and you don't kill them, you're not a real man. So there are expectations there that men have to face too. But yeah, women get treated like absolute shit. But guess what? I don't see feminism doing a damn thing about that. Not at all. I don't see it one bit. In fact, all I see feminists here in the West doing is complaining about a cis, white, hetero, male patriarchy. And talking about how the West is so oppressive to women. And they don't even bat an eye, you know, when somebody brings up some real issues about the Middle East. But not only that, here in the West, we actually do give a fuck about our treatment of women. In fact, a fellow serviceman of mine, a fellow non-commissioned officer, mentioned to one of the terps, as we call them, interpreters, you know, about how they treated their women. And the interpreter mentioned, what, you mean like give them rights like you people do? Yeah. And then, of course, that fellow non-commissioned officer friend of mine got pretty heated about that real quick. The fact of the matter is that you really don't have anything to say about the West when you get down to it, factually speaking, about our treatment of women here. Because in the West, women get treated pretty well. Now, in the Middle East, different story. But then again, it sucks to be a Middle Easterner all around over there. If you're in the general populace, believe me, I've seen how they live. Feminism doesn't want to do anything to stop that. In fact, the only thing I've seen feminists do on that issue so far is criticize anybody who points out, hey, Islamic culture is like this. You know, and I'm not even going to say criticize, slander them as a, quote, Islamophobe. So, guess what? Until you feminists actually go and do something about the stuff going on there, just keep that comment to yourself. Abso-friggin-lutely. Abso-friggin-lutely. It's like when you sign up for the armed services, when you apply for a security clearance, Form SF-86 is the actual form you fill out. When you apply for a federal, local, or state government job, they're going to ask you your gender or your sex. They mean what's on your birth certificate, my man, or my Feminazi. Yes, they're concerned with your chromosomes. Maybe with the exception of if you're applying for a government job in the San Francisco area, the Bay Area, you know, I mean, you know, maybe they go into it a little bit more. But at the end of the day, yes, biological sex and gender are the same thing. Now, as I stated before, this is a free country, so if your chromosomes are XX and you want to pretend like you're XY, go ahead. Just don't expect everyone else to wholeheartedly accept that. You know, if your chromosomes are XY and you want to pretend like your chromosomes are XX, you feel like a woman. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a free country. Go ahead and feel like a woman. But when somebody says, well, hey, dude, you're a dude. I don't care if you look like a lady, you're a dude. You know, be prepared for that too. You know, and the fact of the matter is, on the same note, it is a free country. You don't have the right to sit there and dictate to other people how they should think of you. You don't. And again, the statement goes to show just how far down our colleges have gone down the drain. If that statement had density, it'd be a lead balloon with the irony. Have you ever thought to consider that maybe you're the closed-minded one and that you're merely projecting? Just saying. Run with me on this here. Run with me on this. Me and the other dudes you're talking about, we don't care. We don't care if one dude wants to get with another dude in the bedroom, or if one girl wants to get with another girl in the bedroom, you know. Don't care. Don't care if you're a dude, but deep down inside you think you're a chick. Don't care. Don't care if you're a chick that thinks you're a dude deep down inside. Really don't. Really don't. Now, here's the thing. Oh, by the way, you mentioned supportive of the LGBT plus community. No, I'm vehemently opposed to the LGBT plus community because I know what plus means. Know what that means? It's just like atheism plus. Sorry, don't fall under the social justice totalitarian mentality. But on the LGBT community, don't care. Really don't care. This is a free country. Western society should be free, even though I'll criticize Europe, Canada, and any other, well, Australia too, and any other country falls under the Western society because they apparently don't extend the same courtesy to gun owners when it comes to freedom. But that's a different story altogether. But, you know, it's supposed to be a free society at the end of the day. You know, you're a dude attracted to another dude. Don't care. Don't care. Don't have the time. I got more pressing issues. Free society, you know, I don't have the right to dictate to other people how they live their lives. But this is something modern feminists, feminazis, can't seem to grasp. Just the same with the rest of the social justice community. You can't seem to grasp that. Wow. You know, hey, you know, if you're a dude but you really feel like a chick, good on you. Just, the problem is that don't expect everyone else to straight up accept that as the honest to God fact. It's just like when you go on Tumblr and say, I'm a demisexual, pansexual, whatever, wolfkin. Don't expect everyone else to take it as the truth. It's a free country. They don't have to take your nonsense as being the truth. What do you not understand about that? Was something not stated to you clearly enough? Whoa! I didn't realize I was a spokesman for Blair White's fan base. That kind of hit me at the last second there. I guess I need to get to know him a bit better. Oh, shit. Well, anyway. I've looked at Blair White's videos. I haven't seen anything from Blair White that wasn't grounded in reality. Nissan is a different story. And actually, feminism wasn't the thing that put Anision on my radar. It was gun control. And, you know what? I could give him the ignorance pass on that one, except I know he knows better. You see, he advocates a ban on AR-15s such as these, right? He's come out and said that that was the first video that I saw of him that put him on my radar. I could have given him the ignorance pass except for the fact that he posted a video showing pictures of him in the Air Force as a security forces personnel, which is the Air Force equivalent of an Army MP. You know, so I know he knows the difference between this rifle here and the one he was issued in service. I know, 'cause I know. You know, but if you want to keep on believing this person, Onision, you go right ahead. It's a free country. At the same time, you know, I can look at his videos and tell he's targeting an audience that doesn't know better. For what that's worth. I'm giving you I'm giving you some free chicken here. Come on. Well, I'd give the same advice to you, seeing the fact that your courses have closed your mind. But on the other hand, if you're too open-minded, your brains fall out, huh? Educated yourself? Come on, you were getting on to a German guy whose second language is English about grammatical errors, and you're going to make one right here about modern day issues in biology. Yeah, well, guess what? I've taken an anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 in college. Don't have a college degree, but I've taken those courses. And in which case, college ain't everything. And then you go on to say, even though those things are a, quote, waste of time. You don't need to put waste. Spelling is in waste and not W-A-S-T-E, waste. Are you projecting? You just not get grammar right or what? I mean, come on. You criticized a German whose second language is English over spelling, and you're gonna misspell a word? Seriously? And no, I don't think learning about life and getting some perspective in life is a waste of time. I do believe, however, if you need college to teach you how to think, you're wasting your time and money. If that gets through to you in any way, shape, or form. So, there you have it. I mean, I don't know what more I can say on the issue at the time. Y'all take her easy out there. Thanks for watching.